Hey, so I have a job now, and since it can get pretty dry sometimes, I figured I might as well start writing scripts for YouTube videos so that maybe I can upload a tiny bit more often. Regardless, I thought I'd talk about things that annoy me about my favorite groups. Some of these things I do actually hate, and some of them are more so criticisms or small minor things that could be improved upon. And so that it's not all negative, I'll also be speaking about things that I love about all these groups because they're my favorites for a reason. Firstly, we'll start with the biggest group on this list, which also happens to be my alt girl group and the group that got me into K-pop, BLACKPINK. Now, I know you're probably thinking that my critique is that they have too little music, but it's really not. It doesn't bother me overly. My issue with them is that their discography lacks diversity. It's very well known that the Teddy formula is overused in their discography, and the girls get a lot of hate for repetitive songs. Let's face it. Whistle, Playing with Fire, Forever Young, See You Later, Kill This Love, How You Like That, Pretty Savage, Crazy Over You, and Pink Venom are all the same song but remastered. If I feel like hearing an upbeat song, all I have is Boom-Baya. If I feel like being nostalgic, all I have are Stay, Don't Know What to Do, and Lovesick Girls. Then for happy mood, it's As If It's Your Last, with Hope Not and You Never Know If I'm Feeling Sad. The rest of their songs are kind of a mix and match of all those aforementioned genres. Sure, their concept is girl crush, but you can do girl crush without having all of your songs sound nearly identical. That being said, what I love about BLACKPINK is their nigh perfect discography. I actually don't fully dislike any songs, solo songs included, apart from Crazy Over You, but I listened to a remix of that song, and I guess Ice Cream a little. For as repetitive as their music may be, you can't deny they're all bangers. More of their recent songs have been growers rather than their older stuff, but I don't even mind that because I do grow to eventually praise them in high regard once I get over the initial shock of it. Pink Venom, yes, it's not their best song by quite a bit, but I still find myself going back to it rather often recently. They're the only K-pop act that I wake up at 4 in the morning for because I know that their music will always certifiably slap. So yes, 4 in the morning Amelia will come out of hibernation when Born Pink drops just to listen to the whole album 3 times over and love it. Touch wood anyway. SORN, my ex-CLC bias and now my ultimate female bias. The only actual problem that lies with SORN is her lack of music, which I am blaming on Cube as a matter of fact. I mean, she had to fund her own solo debut despite the company clearly having money, and I think she was even promoting it herself because her company at the time was the total definition of useless. But now that she's with Wild, she seems to be taking her time and releasing high quality songs every time. And even though there are only 4 songs to her name, I can't say I dislike a single one of them. SORN seems to be thriving right now, and she seems to be teasing some sort of new music release on her Instagram, so I'll be looking out for that with beady eyes. She truly appears to be participating in music and means a lot to her, and that's the most important thing for an artist to have to be true musical success for me. Moving on to my male alts, the Lost Children. This is probably the quote-unquote worst opinion I have to say during the whole video, so buckle up. Felix and Jongin are awkward members of the group. There, I said it. Okay. But I genuinely love these two boys and don't want them out of the group. Please let me explain. Felix, he's not the best singer nor the best rapper, not in the slightest. My friend, who also listens to Stray Kids a lot, who is more experienced in the field of knowing and recognizing skilled rappers, agrees with me on this sentiment. But that doesn't mean either of us would want him out of the group. Felix adds a lot of charm to Stray Kids, his dancing is some of the best in the group, even if I think he overdances a little, and his voice's flexibility is truly impressive. And I'm not saying don't give him any lines either, maybe just don't give him as many English lyrics because I truly think he excels when he sings or raps in Korean. And about Jongin, his voice just doesn't suit the group. Were Woojin still in the group, his voice would also be included here. Jongin sings extremely nasally, which doesn't suit the other members' colours, nor does his voice fit the concept of the group either. But this is a common thing in K-pop, which is why I'm not giving as in-depth an explanation as I did for Felix. However, what I deeply respect about Stray Kids is their lack of fear to break the mold. K-pop Stuff's made a really good video discussing the numerous genres Stray Kids have covered since their debut, and the list will no doubt keep climbing higher and evolving with each passing year. Their genre count is staggering, and I love them for that, since it's never known what sort of thing they're going to be releasing next. It keeps the mystique there every time. Now, NCT Dream. I'm only just getting into NCT Dream and NCT in general, but I thought I'd put them on this list because why not? So I hate the NCT Dream banned under the graduation concept. Hear me out. Imagine the 4 2000 boys graduating, and then Chunla and Jisoo performing a song made for 7 people. Just the mental image of that made my younger self roll around on the floor from laughter. Okay, but in all seriousness, I don't really appreciate their harder hitting stuff. Boom was fine for a one-off and I like the song. Ride In is also fine for a song, but Hot Sauce lost me completely. Maybe it's just because we don't have many cuter boy groups, but I'm learning to cherish the few we have. However, I don't think their albums have ever been a disappointment, and I love them. Most specifically, their 2 full albums and the 2 repackages. Dream, hands down, have the best music in SM right now, and these past 4 albums have been fantastic. Probably could find something nice to say about every single song on those albums, even Hot Sauce. That same luxury isn't extended to their previous albums, but that doesn't mean they weren't enjoyable. Maybe it is just me being a sucker for males having more than just that hard, don't mess with me, alpha image to their music, but does it even matter? Dream isn't even doing cute concepts, they're just having fun right now. I just wish more boy groups played around with something that isn't the dark concept. Lucy, a simple band that I never expected to fall nearly this far for. They have really good music, but I have problems being able to listen to them all year round. I used to have almost all of Lucy's discography on loop during spring and summer, but the only songs that I felt I could actually listen to all year round without feeling off season were Watermelon and Straight Line. Straight Line is jazzy, and I think jazz doesn't really have a season, whereas Watermelon is clearly a summer song, but it kind of works any time of the year for me. And it sucks because Flowering is ethereal but not really made for a season other than spring, and Farther is an amazing ballad that's weird to listen to if it's not winter. Songs are supposed to work outside of the weather, and few of theirs do for me. But here's to hoping that their new album is fantastic enough to stand the test of time and season, because it's a hell of a good album. Bringing me on to their positives. Lucy utilizes a violinist, automatically separating them from any other K-band. Violins are such delicate instruments that can add a sense of power, urgency, compassion, comfort, mournfulness, and so much more to a piece. They're truly one of the most beautiful instruments, and just having Ye-chan in the group makes them one of the most uniquely beautiful acts I've ever heard. Sang-yeop's vocals add so much to that feeling of intense delicacy, and I don't think this band could thrive without a single one of its members. Ah yes, moving on to everyone's favourite emo kings, Text. I'm likely in the minority when I say this, but I prefer TXT doing emo concepts. Yes, that's coming from the very person who just a while ago said boy groups should take a leaf out of NCT Dream's book. In fact, I like them doing emo songs so much that I really quite shun their previous stuff. It's not that I hate it, it's just really not as good. Crown remains forever iconic and beautiful, but I felt disappointed by myself and how quickly I got bored of it because it really is amazing. Runaway wasn't nearly as good as everyone said, and that album didn't really hold up well either. And then they dropped Can't You See Me, and I stand because of that song and its accompanying music video. Blue Hour was after that, which was weird, and then they never looked back. I've never really looked too fondly upon their cuter stuff, and it's not because they don't suit it or I think the music is objectively bad. Personally, for me, the way Big Hit went about making their cuter stuff didn't feel passionate enough, and it felt like something was lacking most of the time. That being said, their vocal tones are always something I've enjoyed. Yeonjun puts everything into his performances. Like, have you seen that Good Boy Gone Bad Mnet stage? I die every time. But he's so spectacular in terms of pure rap and vocal ability that it's insane. Taeyeon is a powerhouse who may only stand out to me vocally, but the amount of versatility his voice has is ridiculously impressive. Plus, he and Kai learned how to grate their voices for I Know I Love You, and that speaks testament to how skilled both Kai and Taeyeon are as vocalists. Soobin and Bumgyu aren't exactly as impressive as the other three, but the husky and gentle tones they have respectively makes me adore their vocal tones whenever they're given a chance to sing. For the juggernauts that are aespa, you're probably not expecting me to say something as boring and basic as the girls' era. I truly hated this era for them, I really did. Nothing felt like it was going right and everyone was just dogpiling and constantly giving them all that unnecessary hate. Really, you couldn't have found anything better to do with your time than hate on young girls just because they're famous. With their previous titles, it always felt like there were people who liked it and people who didn't. I don't really remember seeing anyone defending girls and saying how good it was. The only reason people were talking about them was because of Giselle's lazy dancing. No guys, she's not dancing lazily, she's simply stressed and scared of being put under a spotlight and criticised overly by you people who claim to be Mize. But even though I understand what's happening with Giselle mentally, it didn't make watching any of their stages or promotional material easier. It was awful to watch, but much like the common car crash analogy, it's hard to look away from a disaster. Okay, enough being negative. Let's speak about the truly amazing thing about aespa, their music. It's as if NCT 127 were female and produced consistently good experimental music rather than just from time to time. Their music is what I like to call Giga-esque, Giga being my second all-time favorite artist and Japanese producer. Anyway, their music feels like a toned-down version of Giga's at points, which is always appreciated since I love experimental and loud songs when they're done right. Yeah, you better cower, oh sticker, and hit ya. aespa are doing it like no other in K-pop, and that's genuinely the best thing about them. and we're left with one, ENHYPEN, my new possible alt. I'm truly sorry that this has even become a possibility, Stray Kids, but it may have to be done. Your OT8 music seems to not be living up completely to your OT9 music for me, whereas ENHYPEN is kind of my go-to group musically right now, but this is in the positive section. What really annoys me in ENHYPEN's music is the abuse of autotune. They have such nice voices, but Hive seems to really like making them all sound like twins due to autotune. I will admit I can sometimes actually tell their voices apart during their more recent stuff, but debut era ENHYPEN owed everything to autotune, even though they didn't need to. Autotune, when it's stylistic, is totally fine and I accept it. Nevertheless, I want to hear ENHYPEN, not a robot. And now, the final positive of the video, the last thing I absolutely adore, Manifesto Day 1. I'm willing to bet that no other album will top this for the rest of the year. But this whole era was fantastic. We, obviously, had the masterfully created album, but we also had so many other things. Notably, the J Park meme. I have spent literal hours laughing at him, and I'm not stopping. Engines are literally so funny, and I'm so glad to officially call myself one. Then we had the Heesung POV shot that one show did. I literally can't even, it's too funny. What did they think they were doing? What did they think they'd achieve? As amazing as Heesung is, I never wanted to become Heesung, and that POV shot didn't help to change my mind. And then that other music show that kept zooming in way too close to their faces. Some fans called it expert camera work. I call it an embarrassment. I mean, Jay literally looked like the Rock meme, and you can't change my mind. Jungwon also won me over completely this comeback, between that one encore stage where he was just so smiley while singing his lines, versus that exact same shot of him in the music video, saying that exact same line, but doing it in the most badass, hot, sexy way. Oh, and who could forget Sonu forgetting he's on stream and making that face towards Jay? Iconic. I just genuinely think that this is the peak of K-pop. I don't think we can go up from here. But yeah, on that note, I'm finished writing the script for this. I don't know how long of a video this is going to turn out, but I hope you enjoyed the video if you watched it all the way through. Hope to see you around.